candidates to a job requisition in CCW. So when you first log in, this will be your kind of welcome screen that you see. When you first log in, it'll say, good morning. You'll see this welcome screen here. And just as you had in Fieldglass, you'll have a kind of a to-do task list that shows you what you have that is pending for your required tasks that you need to complete, such as, you see here where it's pointing with the arrow. If you have any requisitions that are in queue, any candidates or any onboarding or anything like that, you'll have that to-do list there to kind of guide you on what is still open and pending for you to complete for your task. And then you'll go, once you click on your open requisitions, you'll find the rec that you're looking for, as you see on this screen here. So your forklift operator for second shift. And then once you're ready to submit your candidate, you're going to go to search candidate where you see the error there. And then once you get to the next screen on the resume bank page, you're going to click add candidate to the resume bank. This is where on the next screen, you'll enter all your workers' pertinent information as far as name, state, their date that they're available to start working. And you're not required to upload a resume. That's not a required task. And then once your candidate was successfully saved, you'll get a confirmation where you'll click OK after you check save and continue. Then on the next page, you'll complete all the required fields here. So as you see the candidate pay rate, that's the only thing that you're gonna, have to know. You should know, whatever the pay rate is for your site as far as for the forklift. And then it will automatically fill in your bill rate, overtime rate, and all those required fields there in the top part. And then just as you did in Fieldglass, the unique identifier, we had the security ID. So in this bottom section here where it shows the last four of the social, 2-digit birth month and 2-digit birthday, that's going to be their unique identifier here in CCW. And then also they'll add, correct me if I'm wrong, so it's going to be CW that'll be added to that.
That is correct.
Yeah. Okay. And then you're going to hit submit. And that's going to submit that worker to that requisition for the second shift forklift operator. Now, the only difference in CCW, everything will be broken down as far as job titles by shift. So we'll have forklift operator first shift, second shift, and so on. For any job title that we have in Fieldglass today, it'll be broken down by shift once you see it in CCW. And then once you've submitted it, it's going to take you to the confirmation page. And it's going to ask you to make sure that you want to submit this candidate to the rec for the forklift operator on second shift. Once you hit yes, then it's going to notify you that it has been sent to your program manager to do our steps, just like we did in Fieldglass. Once you submitted it, then it comes to us to double check everything. We do our parts. And then later on, we'll discuss how it goes kind of back to you to accepting the job offer or rejecting it, if the candidate has changed his mind or whatever the case may be there. So very similar to kind of what we did in Fieldglass. It's just a different tool that we're using now. So I'll pause there. Are there any questions regarding, how to submit a candidate to a requisition off that first little bit of information?
Hey, Kevin, I believe that someone by the name of Annabelle had a question at the beginning of the call. Annabelle, did you have a question?
No, I don't have it.
Okay, I saw you raised your hand. Okay, no problem. Thank you.
And just one more thing to add. So those of you, I know it'll probably come up later on. We'll just go ahead and touch base on it here. So the links for registration will probably come out today or tomorrow. So that will go out to your Fieldglass admins. So those that were your admin people for Fieldglass in the past, they will be the ones that will be getting those links, and that they will be responsible for setting up anyone at the branch level or anyone else that needs access to CCW in order to submit candidates or whatever, whoever else needs access into CCW. right, so the next topic we'll cover will be submitting existing candidates to a requisition. So same thing, you'll click on the requisition list. So very similar to what we did before. Then you're going to go in and find your requisition that you're looking for. So for instance, as you see the NFI rec, so that's going to be very similar to what you saw in Fieldglass today. It's going to be the rec number or the job posting number that you were looking for. You're going to click on that, and then you're going to go into search candidates. And then to narrow down the search, you're going to enter the criteria. Simply click on search to pull up any available candidates that you might have in your candidate pool. But as you can see, you put in last name, first name, the city, location, state, and then you're going to hit search. And then that's going to pull up your list of candidates that you have in your resume bank. Once you find your candidate, so for this instance, Timely Mary, then you're going to hit submit to requisition. And then it's going to pull up that rec information, shows you what shift, the shift details, the location, and the minimum and maximum pay rates. And then once again, you're going to put in your candidate pay rate. And once again, it's going to fill in, the bill rates, overtime rates. And once again, you're going to put in that, the last four of the social, 2-digit birth month, 2-digit birth day, and then hit submit to requisition. And then once again, it'll take you to the confirmation page. You're going to confirm that you want to submit the candidate to the forklift operator for second shift. And then it will confirm that it is sent it to your program manager to look over, make sure everything is correct. And then we'll do our part. And then once again, it is sent back to you just as it was in Fieldglass previously. Any questions about that process for submitting an existing worker? No? All right. So next we'll go on into accepting a work order. So with this under your workspace over to the left, you'll click on candidates, and then you'll go to candidates with offers. And then you're going to find your candidates. So as you see here, Frank Franklin, and you're going to look to the far right where it says a work order has been issued. And you're going to click on Mr. Frank, and then it's going to take you to the next screen. And this is where you're either going to accept the work order or reject. And like I said previously, if for some instance, his situation has changed or whatever the case, that would when you'd be able to reject him. Otherwise, you're going to click accept. And then on this screen, this is where, things have changed from where in Fieldglass we had you guys put in just your branch email address or a fictitious email address. But with this moving forward, you want to make sure you get the candidate's actual email address, because when it does come time for that candidate to, when he's eligible to convert, we want to have that actual email address. So when NFI needs to send any, documentation or that offer letter, we want to have that actual email address so we have that correct information to be able to send the candidate his or her offer letter directly to their email address, and it doesn't get lost or we have to reach out to you guys and have to track that information down. We want to be able to get everything done, in a timely manner. So please make sure you put that candidate's correct email address in this spot here when you're submitting them and accepting the work order. And then also another thing to note on this page here, when you're accepting the work order, it will not let you go past this page. Even though we're only doing sales tax in PA and Canada at the moment, you still need to make sure you put in your state and county on this sales tax screen here. It will not let you go past if you leave it blank. So make sure you complete this sales tax information here on this page also before you hit accept. Then on the next page, you're just going to hit yes to confirm the work order, and then the user will then be directed to candidate with offers page. And then that's basically all you have to do for accepting the work order. So it's pretty simple. The only two major things are making sure you get that correct email address put in there, And then as far as the sales tax information, making sure you're putting in your county and the state there in that aspect on that page. Any questions with accepting the work order? No? Okay. So the next thing that we'll cover will be completing the onboard documents. So with that, you're going to also go back to the candidates with offer page here on the left when you're on your home page. And then you're going to find your candidate, like it says, shows here with Mary Fringe, where the work order has been accepted. And then you're going to click, when you get on that page, you'll see the view onboarding detail. And then you're going to have these three tabs here where it says training, documents, and compliance. So each one of these tabs has individual things that you have to complete before you can go on and complete the onboarding process for each candidate that you have submitted and accepted a work order for. So under the training, each one will, be site specific, that you'll have in here for documents. You'll just hover over where you see these little arrows that kind of circle around each other. And then you will click and change the information to completed and then hit submit and okay. So you change it to completed, submit, and then yes and okay to update that information that part of that training and that documentation paperwork has been completed successfully. And then under compliance for the background check and the drug panel. So you are going to have to initiate it first before you can actually mark it as complete. So that is kind of a double step that you have to do with these two here under the compliance. So first you will have to click to initiate it and then come back through once more and mark it as completed and then submit. Okay, so that's kind of a double step there on the compliance aspect of things. Any questions about the onboarding aspect? I know in field glass, we always, asked you, if they were complete. And then sometimes, we're going to have to kind of maybe possibly figure a workaround because I know sometimes some sites allow, workers to start pending. So that will be something we'll figure out when it comes to that. But otherwise, those will have to be completed before you will be able to actually get the worker started at the site.
Kevin, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I have one question. Sorry, this is Bailey and Katie from Luxor Staffing. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. This is Katie, Kevin. Hey there. On the sales tax for PA, when we select that county, it's automatically going to populate the rate that you're pulling over from field glass, correct? Or do you need that info from us?
No, so we previously about a month ago sent out to all the GMs and the sites to get the rates for the job titles. Is that what you're referring to, or the sales tax?
No, sorry, the emergency alert. The sales tax rate for PA, Danielle had entered it for us into field glass and said that it would automatically populate going forward as we submitted PA workers. I'm curious with Coupa if that's going to be the same if you have our current PA sales tax rate and if it will automatically populate based on the county selected for that candidate.
Hi guys, Kevin, I think I can answer this if you don't mind. I think it's going to default to 6% if I remember correctly. It'll automatically populate in there. You just have to pick it. I will confirm with Maureen, but the last conversation I heard, it's going to automatically populate at 6%.
Based on the county. So sorry, 6%.
I don't even know that it's going to be based on the county. I think we're just going to put in a default percentage in there. But like I said, I'll follow up with Maureen and confirm.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that is correct. But like T said, we'll circle back and get that answer for you just so we know a concrete answer. But I believe that is correct. Yes.
Hey, Kevin.
Uh-huh.
One more. This is Kate. Sorry. Back on the compliance screen, I saw you go over training and compliance, but you didn't cover the document section. Is that because we're not needing to worry about that?
Yeah, there's some, there's some that are documents, but the two main ones are the compliance and the training. I remember when we were going through testing, and correct me if I'm right, Sal, or wrong. I don't think there was anything under the documents tab. I think it was mainly just the training and compliance.
Okay, and on the drug test, we just click the refresh on the far right to initiate, and then we select complete and pass. Like we have to click that to initiate it.
Yes, you'll click that little refresh, and it'll bring up a screen. You'll select to initiate it, and then once you'll go back in and then select that same little refresh button to mark it pass and complete. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Got it. Okay, that's all I needed. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions? All right, so the next thing that we'll go into is some of the reportings that you guys can do. Now they'll be basic. You'll be able to pull your own reports. We'll also, one of the things that we'll include when we send out the recordings and this slide deck, there'll be a supplier guide that we'll send out with that for you guys. That'll go into some more detail and give you some more information on the types of reporting and some more things like that. But we'll cover some of the reporting things that you can pull next here on the slides. So the first one is just like the time detail report that you guys pull now when payroll comes out on Tuesday. So you'll go to your home screen, you'll hover over the advanced reports, and you'll see the time detail here towards the bottom. You'll click on that. And then it's going to take you to this screen where you'll put in all your details on what you kind of want for that time detail report. So you'll click on the CS active flag using the drop down and click all. Then you'll click on your work dates and enter the start and the end date for the work week that you're wanting to pull that report for. Then you'll click on the time sheet status using the drop down and click ones that are approved. And then if you want more than 10 items, you have to change where you see that yellow highlighted button. If you want more than 10 items in that report, you have to enter a number larger than 10 to pull more than 10 items for that report. And then you'll go up and click the apply filter, and then it will run that report for you. And then just like before, it'll look similar to this here and show you the time cards that have been approved. And you can click the apply filter, and it'll show up in this preview box for you. And then next, you can download that into an Excel or a CVS file, just like you did previously, in Fieldglass for your time detail reports. So that's very similar to kind of what you did when payroll would come out. Everything's going to be the same. The time frames aren't going to change for payroll on Tuesdays. When you report your payroll reports on Tuesdays, that time frame is going to stay the same, and nothing like that is going to change. The process is still going to stay the same. Also, that's something I forgot to mention earlier. So it's going to be the same processes. For billing, we're still going to bill on your behalf, minus any vendors that run the CPU or lumper services. They'll still bill the vendors separately for the time being until we get that part of the program pulled into the program as well. Any questions about pulling the time detail report?
Yep, this is Katie with Luxor.
Yes.
One more question. On the in the TOT reg, like the adjustment hours, will they pull out on that report, or would we have to extract those from elsewhere, like the hours approved for prior week ending?
Nope, everything, they'll still show up as T-reg and everything like that, just the same. Yes, ma'am.
On that same weekly report?
Correct, yes, just like it did before.
Okay. Okay, perfect.
And then next we'll cover invoice reporting. So same thing, you'll go to your home screen, hover over the advanced reports. And you're going to click on your invoice detail report. Same thing. You'll click on the invoice date, put in the date range for what you're wanting to run that report for. And then same thing, if you want more than 10, you're going to enter, a larger number than 10 in that highlighted box. And then it's going to give you a preview of the file here. And then once again, you can download that into Excel or a CSV report also. Any questions about that? No? Okay. And last but not least, the infamous mispunch forms. So that's, everybody is familiar with the mispunch form. That process is not going to, change. It'll still be the same process, same form. But, once again, when do I need a mispunch form? This form needs to be completed when an associate has missing time from a closed pay period. Who can complete a mispunch form? The site completes the mispunch form on behalf of the associate. And then the only thing that has changed is you used to submit it to NFI mispunches. Now it has changed to the temp mispunches at nfiindustries.com for processing. So that's the only thing that's changed. It's just the email address that you guys send that mispunch form to once it has been completed and signed off on by all parties. And then what goes on a mispunch form? You can see the image here to the right. So and once again, you don't need the entire day filled out. So if they missed only their lunch punch or their in punch, that's the only thing that you need to have put on that mispunch form. But they need the employee name, employee ID, the agency they work for, and the date that the form has been filled out. And then obviously you put in any missing time that is missing from that day. Fill out, the reason why the missing punch is missing. And then they're going to print and sign, and then you're going to have it signed by the approved Chronos timekeeper. And you turn that into the site, or you get them to sign that, and then you send that to the temp mispunches at nfiindustries.com for processing, which will then be processed on the next week's pay period. Any questions about that? Like I said, nothing has really changed minus the email address that you send that to once the form has been completed.
Kevin, can I just chime in? It's Danielle.
Yep.
Over here. Hi guys. So I am one of the folks that actually submits these forms for processing. Just want to reiterate that you're to use this version of the form, and if anybody doesn't have it, please feel free to shoot me an email or shoot it to the box, and we will get you a copy of it. We receive pushback each time an older version is used. So we just want to confirm that you all are using the same version.
All right. Any questions about anything that we've covered so far? Right. Once again, to reiterate, the process is still the same. We don't want you guys taking orders, via email or text or phone call. We need to make sure everything is running through the tool, through CCW, just like it did in Fieldglass. And once again, to reiterate, we don't need a worker showing up to the site without being in the tool. We just need to make sure we're still following the process. Nothing else has changed. We're still, running the orders. Once you guys submit your part, we're doing our part. So all that is still the same. It's just a different platform, basically, is the only thing that's really changed.
Hey, Kevin, just to piggyback off of that point as well, this is T. Please also note, I just got a request this morning from a supplier asking for job posts. The sites will create, for the most part, I know in my region, they're going to create their job posts. So if you need a job post, if you're backfilling, whatever the case may be, the request goes to the site, not to the program managers.
Exactly. Yeah. Because we don't have the authority to put up job posts. We've got to get that from the site, so, I know myself also, if an agency reaches out to me, I tell them we got to go through the site, because we don't have the authority just to put up a job post and say, hey, they need 10 temps. we don't have that authority to make that call. So like I said, everything's got to run through the site and through the tool. We can't take orders from an agency, unfortunately, because that's not how the process works. Any questions? So please, we've got more trainings this week. If there's somebody on your team that hasn't attended one of these trainings, we've got one tomorrow and one Friday. So please make sure that everybody that's going to be in this tool attends one of these sessions. I know it's a quick overview, but it's pretty much the same process. It's just a different platform, like I stated. So please make sure they attend one of these sessions. And if you have any questions, if you think of something after this, please reach out to myself or Sal or, any of your program managers. If they don't know, they can reach out to one of us, and we'd be happy to answer any questions you guys have. Sal, you got anything to add?
Just wanted to double down on what you said and what you mentioned. It's really, really important that the supplier partners partner with us to make sure that we are working through the tool, the platform. To the point made earlier, because we're not involved in the day-to-day operations, the site is responsible for submitting the orders. Additionally, the recommendation and the best practice here is, look in the tool. Again, don't reach out and send an email and say, hey, do you have orders I can fill? Always go through the tool first. Make sure that you're vetting what's open. To Kevin's point, it is imperative that every person that's being processed through CCW, as was the case with Fieldglass, is completely processed throughout. Meaning, after you guys see the job posting, make sure that you submit your vetted candidate. Make sure that all the pre-hire requirements are completed prior to submitting that individual. Once the individual is submitted, we will do our part to hire and approve, provide the confirmation back to you via the tool, and then make sure that you are reviewing one final time before you accept. It is absolutely crucial that you accept. Otherwise, the individual will not synchronize into Kronos, and there will not be a registration for them when we try to bio-enroll them. So, please be mindful of that. If you run into any challenges, know that your respective program manager is available to support you. Our ultimate goal is to make sure that we are partnering with you and the sites. We want everybody to have a great experience. And we want the people that you guys are bringing through our program to also be onboarded with a great experience. So that's all I have, Kevin. Thank you.
T, do you have anything else to add?
Thanks, Kev. No, just looking forward to kind of transitioning over to the platform. I think everyone's going to find obviously a learning curve for a few weeks, but I think it's going to be extremely user-friendly. Not much really change, as far as the process and procedure goes. If you guys do have questions in regards to the rate or percentage markup or something like that, please point that to our direction as opposed to going to the site as well. I see some emails that should be coming to us versus the site and vice versa, but when in doubt, just reach out to your program managers. The East Coast managers work till 5 p.m. So myself, Dave, and Kevin. And then you do have Melanie and Sal out west. We also have Danielle on the East Coast, and then Caitlin Tovar at the West Coast. So if there is something you need after hours, we do have that additional support for you out west. Keep that in mind as well.
All right, guys. If nobody has
I have a quick question. Sorry, I have a quick question.
Yep.
So we used to have to go put in the Kronos or like our employee ID number in Fieldglass so it would connect. And then we would send obviously the onsite the Kronos number. I don't see that step there. So I'm just confused on how it's going to correlate with our system or if it's something that's drastically different that they don't need anymore.
So no, they'll still have, they'll still utilize the Kronos number, and then there is a spot because the same question came up on our first training yesterday.
Okay.
There's a spot for you to put your employee number, just like you used in Fieldglass in CCW as well. Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Great training session, Kevin. Thank you. Thanks, Sal. Thanks, team.
All right, everybody. If nobody else has any questions, we'll give you some time back in your day. We appreciate you guys joining the call, and I appreciate, Sal's help in putting all this together, and Lauren Toner for putting the slideshow together, and the rest of the team, T and Danielle and Caitlin for joining this call this afternoon. And like I said, if you guys have any questions after the fact, don't hesitate to reach out to myself or Sal or your program manager. And we'll definitely, answer those questions for you. And have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk again soon.
Take care,
Thank
team.
you,
Everybody.
Bye.
Have a good one.